From Illinois Soul, this is Dialogue. I'm Kennedy Vincent. Dialogue is an exchange about culture, straight from the soul. You can catch us on Saturday mornings at 11 and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on Illinois Soul. Mentorship is a journey of transformation, a shared path where guidance, understanding, and encouragement can redefine lives. Today on Dialogue, we explore the unique bond between a mentor and his mentee from the CU One-to-One Mentoring Program. It's a school-based initiative of the Champaign Unit 4 and Urbana District 116 that creates safe spaces for young adults to thrive while fostering meaningful connections with their mentors.
So we're gonna eat salad every week?
Every week.
I want a burger or something. I want to just eat salad. See, thing about it is, if you keep eating salad over and over and over and over and over, you're going to get tired of eating it, and then you're going to stop eating it.
You get tired of burgers?
No.
Yeah.
That's Shawnif and his mentor, Stacy, having what might seem like a simple debate about lunch choices, but it's these everyday moments that build the foundation of mentorship. The CU One-to-One Mentoring Program has been going on for 30 years, and Shawnif and Stacy are an example of what this legacy of mentorship looks like. So, Stacy, what moment in your life made you realize that you wanted to become a mentor?
My first experience mentoring was right after high school graduation, a summer camp job, and I loved it. So I thought about teaching after that, and I've been doing it ever since 1992.
Shawnif, what did you first think of your mentor when you met him?
Why he bald? The first thing I thought was, like, where he from? He told me he was from New York. I used to do my history on New York, and, like, 'cause I like history. He told me he was from New York. I was like, you from the Bronx? He not even from New York City. He's just from like a small city in New York. So he came told me he from New York, like he from the city, but he really just from like. But yeah, I thought like, how old is he? Do we got kids? Do we got a wife? And why did Mr. Drew pick him just to be my mentor?
So what was it like first building trust or getting to know him deeper, and then you kind of allowing him into your life?
It was basically like, I don't know, because we've been mentees for a long time. Like, seriously. When I first met him, I used to be, like, asking a lot of questions about New York. He'd be like, man, it's so safe out New York. Like, it ain't nothing here. And then, like, after that, I got to know him. I stopped asking him questions about that. We started talking about other stuff, like celebrities, my goals in school. I remember one time I had 2 C's, and he came and was like, you better replace some C's with some B's. Or some A's. It ain't just all about C's. And then he was like, we're not playing basketball today. You got C's.
And how'd that make you feel?
It made me feel like, because it was like he actually cared about my goals and like what I was doing in school and how I'm focusing.
Mentorship isn't just about guidance, it's about connection. Studies show Black male youth in mentoring programs have improved emotional well-being, mental health, and interpersonal relationships, alongside stronger racial identity. That's from evidence-based-mentoring.org. Whether it's in the classroom or on the basketball court, you can see how close Shawnif and Stacy's bond has grown.
This is what we go to every week.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm whooping him in basketball.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Got to build his self-esteem. And if I start dunking on him every week,
he can't dunk.
You know?
Can you dunk?
No.
Not
I
yet,
can shoot.
right? You're probably working towards it.
Mm-hmm.
The need for more one-on-one connection between students and adults is why the program was created over 30 years ago. I spoke with Lauren Smith, the Community Outreach Coordinator for CU One-to-One Mentoring Program. To learn more about this organization and how it got started, she tells us more on why this impact is so important for the community.
It was started by Barbara Linder in Urbana Middle School and at Bottenfield Elementary School. And she was volunteering in her child's classroom and saw the need for adults to come in. So many kids wanted that extra attention. And she researched some programs around the country, found one in Connecticut that she liked and modeled this program off of it and got others interested. And then they got a grant from the federal government because for a while it was just she, trying to get mentors for all the schools. And that's pretty hard to do. Then she did get somebody in Champaign, but still with just 2 people. So they did get a grant from the U.S. Department of Education. And that was in 2004. So that was 10 years after they'd started. That enabled them to hire coordinators at all the elementary and middle schools. And that's when I started at Bottenfield and Garden Hills. I was a mentor myself at the time and thought, oh, that would be a wonderful job.
What do you think it's been like throughout all the years for the community to receive this program, for the children to receive the program, and also for people to join as mentors?
The first 10 years, it was harder with just 1 or 2 people recruiting. It was harder to get people to come. Then when we had coordinators at every school, they were able to go out into the community, talk to businesses, have more of a presence in the community, and really get people to consider mentoring and, consider doing this. It's not always an easy sell because we're talking about a long-term commitment. But most of our mentors come from recommendations from friends that are currently mentoring. And they tell people, I love doing this. It's an hour a week. I would never think of not continuing with my mentee because it's a great break in my week. I get just as much or more out of it than they do.
I'm sure you face some of those challenges still today. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
The challenges to getting mentors are, number one, this community is fairly transient. A lot of people are moving in and out, and we do ask for that long-term commitment. We know not everybody knows the future, so if you do move, that's okay. A lot of people are helping in a lot of different ways too. And it is, it's hard to ask somebody to make one more commitment sometimes. But I would say, having been a mentor myself to 2 different students, it's just, you get more out of it, I think, than I feel like I gave. I'm still friends with my mentee today. She's 29. We still get together on a regular basis. And she helped me just as much, I think, as I made a difference to her. But it is getting the word out, making sure people know that it's fun. You're not doing homework. You're not, trying to help them with algebra, or it's just hanging out with a student and not being a parent, not being a teacher, just having fun with them.
Just like Lauren, Stacy is looking forward to a lifelong relationship with Shawneve. He's thinking decades ahead, instilling values and skills that will carry through adulthood, even into Shawneve's future fatherhood.
So CU Mentoring has a list of goals, and we go through a training. There are a list of goals that we are tasked to achieving every year. For me, if I'm mentoring someone, I'm always thinking about the future. It's not about mentoring for that period of time. So we're already talking about high school, right? And it was already mentioned that we're talking about after high school. That is how I think about it. With the goals that CU Mentoring has, I have to make sure that I hit those benchmarks. I'm an educator, right? So we have to make sure that students reach the course objectives and deliverables that they're supposed to meet. However, we're always thinking about their life outside of the classroom and beyond graduation. Same thing with Shawneve. I'm thinking about him at 20, thinking about him at 30. I'm thinking about him when he's my age, 52, right? And then those goals that he doesn't even know he has right now, how do I help him achieve those things? This is definitely the longest mentoring relationship that I have had in my lifetime, and slated for possibly decades after this.
You're gonna be an old man.
I'm gonna be an old man Mentoring you, yeah, until you don't, to the point you don't need a mentor.
What about when I'm grown and I got kids?
Absolutely. So then guess what? You'll be reaching out to me. You'll have a whole new list of questions. Stacey, I got to deal with my son or my daughter with this situation. How did you deal with this with your children? We'll have right. You see, it never stops.
The more you get older, the more the different questions. Like, was I younger or asking a question about New York because I'm a kid. I'm doing childish things. But like once I get older, I'm asking real like questions like, what was your first job? Mm-hmm. Where did you work at?
How did I get that job?
How did you get that job?
What skills did I have to build? Or how did I have to prepare for that job?
Stuff like that. Because once you get older, and then once you get in high school, you got to lock in. Mm-hmm. I noticed that when I got in middle school, because like when I was in elementary school, I used to it was elementary school, you didn't have no grades. You just do work, but now you got grades. And that's in elementary school, like, it's different, because in here it shows what you actually approve, like how you approve. Especially when I got in seventh grade is actually different, so you got to really like stay focused.
Shawneef's reflection on his own growth is a powerful testament to the progress he's made. From questioning his potential to setting bold goals, he's learned that positive change is possible, even from a rough start. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving and leaving a legacy for the future.
There's been a time when we used to sit down, he'd ask me what I want to be. Like, he'd be like, do you want to be a rapper? I used to want to be a rapper. Then I turned to want to be a comedian, but now I want to do real estate. I play college basketball, but I don't want to be in the NBA. Yeah, I want to do real estate and own properties all over the U.S., out of the U.S. Like, I want to own a property in every single state. And I talked to him about that because he real wealthy. And he tell me just put your mind to anything. Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. I used to always down myself and feel like I could do a lot of things. Basketball, math, history, science. And I got through all that. Like, when I first got here, I didn't know how to do none of this. Now I'm really into it.
How does it make you feel to see your own growth?
It made me feel a lot better because a lot of people, 16, still doing what they was doing at 13, and I'm glad I growed up, and because I looked around me, because I grew up in a real rough neighborhood, so it's real that I'm probably one of the only kids that's actually going to come out doing something positive, be known for something positive and not nothing negative. I'm talking about not just in my neighborhood, in the city, throughout the whole world. I just want my name to be out there.
Stacey, what has been the most powerful moment or pivotal moment for you in this mentorship?
You know, I'm thinking about this moment right now. To hear Shawneef say what he just said about the locking in, you don't understand. When we're meeting, the pushback I get all the time. Why do we gotta talk about goals? I don't want to think about the future. I want to play basketball, right? Balancing the little bit of time that we have every week with the goal setting, the goal, even thinking about goals, for him to be able to just say, this is what we've worked on in the last several years. When he's talking 4 years, right? This is 4 years. He's talking about going back to 4th grade with some of the stuff that he's just said. To hear him talk about that and talk about that as growth and to appreciate that, this is that moment. Because I think if you're mentoring, that is the goal. Like, you have to see the progress. You ask yourself, I know I do, okay, why am I doing this? And what are my outcomes? What am I expecting? What do I consider success in mentoring? So I think he has just kind of affirmed that I'm doing a great job mentoring. And that's I'm happy. I'm set.
Shawneef, how does it feel to hear your mentor, someone who's always in your corner and helping you guide? Like, he's really proud of you.
Mm-hmm. Made me feel good because most times a lot of young boys, it started right here when they grow up and do bad things. It started right here when they just don't have no mentor like this. But I'm glad I got men in my life, not just him. I got men in my life that actually teach me the right things. And he did a lot of positive things in his life, so I'm glad I got this kind of mentor. And that's pushing me to do positive things. I'm glad I got him. So it make me happy.
So I'll just add, he's talked about being interested in real estate, basketball, rapping. So whenever he says he wants to do something, I have follow-up questions, right? Okay, so how are you going to do that? What are your practices now that are going to lead to your success in that? So when he wanted to be a rapper, first I was like, okay, so let's write. Every week, I'll get you a book, let's write. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, okay. So he wants to do it on his own, which is fine. He would say some raps, I'd listen, that's fine. When he wanted to play basketball, I'm not a huge sports person, right? But because he wants to play basketball, we play basketball. And I've got better at shooting, right? So it's a win-win, you know what I mean? And he beats me a lot, and that's totally fine. But then when he started talking about real estate, what I would do, whether it's real estate or the lectures or art exhibitions or other projects that I'm working on, sometimes I would bring the checks in. I'd show him. I was like, so you're interested in real estate? This is what I got from the tenants this month, right? Or I wasn't here last week because I was traveling and exhibiting or lecturing or whatever. Here's that check from that. There is a connection between what I do when we're not together and then all the things that I say, but then this also is what this looks like as career building opportunities. And guess what? You can do these things too. You don't got to be into real estate. You don't have to be into artwork like I am, traveling, lecturing. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, you can monetize that and live your dream off of that.
Shawnee, I'm curious, why real estate?
Real estate because I want not just to get properties, I want to give them to people who really need them. And I want to purchase them myself. Because when I used to be a rapper, I didn't understand, because most rappers do a lot, and it's just a lot, and sign themselves over. And I don't want to be no idol. So I want to just do real estate. That's something like you could be real wealthy off of, and that's something that don't bring you into a lot of other stuff.
As Shanif reflects on his future, it's clear that mentorship isn't just about guiding through today's challenges. It's about preparing to lead in tomorrow's world. With Stacy by his side, Shanif is not only reaching for his dreams, but setting his sights on an even greater horizon. For both the mentor and the mentee, this experience has been rewarding, but you don't need to be in the program to be a good mentor. Stacy says that should be built into our community.
I would say that if you have lived and experienced and survived that experience, you have something to share. I believe that mentoring is a responsibility for all of us who are older, right, who have wisdom. Now, every older person does not have wisdom. I'm not going to say that they all should be mentors. However, I do believe that we all have the potential to be mentors. I believe that Shawnee could be a mentor right now to someone younger than him or even some of his peers because he has a vision for his future. He knows how to execute plans and knows how to make those things happen. He can be an influence among his friends and mentor them. Right, so it's not always even about age, but I would say that to anyone who is either interested in mentoring or don't believe that they can mentor. It takes the vested interest, and it really takes you having a heart to assess your past. The past matters, right? Surviving that past matters. Being successful. Everything is not a horror story of our past, but there are horror stories in many of our past. But there are also many, many successes. And we have the opportunities to share those with people so that they can make their own mistakes. I always like to tell people, don't make my mistakes. Go make new mistakes. But don't make the mistakes I made, because that's why I went through it. So you don't have to.
Shanif, what would you tell another young person about what it feels like to have someone in your corner, believing in you every step of the way and just helping guide you?
I tell y'all, go try to find somebody like that, because they can really help you out in life. Because a lot of people that's around you may be negative to you and not trying to bring you positivity into your life. Go find somebody like Mr. Stacy.
Do you think maybe you might mentor in the future?
Yeah. That's another thing. I want to start like a mentoring program, and I want to get young black boys and talk about what to do and what not to do. And I don't want to just say it. I want to do it. Like, I want to be a revolution. Yeah, I want to get young black boys and get them and do good things with them. You know, take them places, take them across country, take them out of the country, get them, do right things with them. You know, give them jobs, get them in sports, get them in programs. Because I know after my generation, it's going to be crazy.
Shawnee and Stacy, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This was great.
Thank you for having us.
The CU one-to-one mentoring program creates opportunities for mentors to meet their mentees 1 hour a week during the school day for one school year. But as we've seen with Stacy and Shawnee, these relationships often grow into lifelong bonds that transform both lives. For Dialogue, I'm Kennedy Vincent.
I'm Patricia Bradford. Here's what's happening around town. On February 11th, head to the Illini Union's Courtyard Cafe for a screening of House Music, A Cultural Revolution, followed by a Q&A with host Dwayne Powell. From Soul Train to House begins at 7 p.m. Uncorked continues Thursday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Listen and dance to the sounds of the Soul Syndicate Sextet at Cranard Center for the Performing Arts. And Street College Studio Saturdays is back for the spring 2025 semester. Your kids can learn how to make original music, DJ, engineer, and more. Head over to go.illinois.edu/Studio Saturdays for more information. You're listening to Illinois Soul FM 101.1 WILL FM HD2 with translator 266 AF Urbana.
You're listening to Dialogue from Illinois Soul. I'm Kimberly Schofield. February 6th through February 16th, an all-black cast is performing in the play Skeleton Crew at the Station Theater in Urbana. Late last year, I talked with director Lisa Gay Dixon and station board president Kendall Chunson, and they told us why they believe this production is relatable to Central Illinoisans. Either Kendall or Lisa, can you tell me briefly what Skeleton Crew is about? What is the plot?
I think Kendall and I could do that together.
Perfect.
We'll sort of tag team. So the major themes are about, quote unquote, the American dream, about race, and how hardworking working class people come to deal with what's started to happen with the economy as factories and things begin to shut down in Detroit. It really is about how do people support each other, help each other, how do they get through those things that are, especially when it comes to race, how do they deal with issues of race in the workplace in traditionally white, traditionally male environments.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it over to you for more of the plot.
Yeah, so it's 2006, Detroit auto plant, in the midst of the recession. Auto plants all around the city are shutting down, and the one featured in this show is still going. There's rumors going around that it could be shutting down soon. We've got our four characters, Des and Shanita, are the younger, looking at their futures and seeing what they're going to be doing with their futures. Shanita is pregnant and looking to start a family. Des is looking to open up his own auto shop. Then we've got Reggie, older. He's the foreman, and we see sort of how we deal with the different power imbalances when we've got authority figures over people within the same community. And then Faye, the long-time worker. She's about to hit 30 years. She's looking forward to retirement, and all she asks is that they don't close before she hits that 30-year mark. Mm-hmm. So we see how we deal with all those relationships.
How did this show, Skeleton Crew, get picked then for the station season?
Well, the station theater has a play selection committee. They spend 3-4 months looking through submissions that are made by the company members or community members. And Skeleton Crew was submitted, considered and accepted by the play selection committee, and then voted on by the board. And this show really exemplifies the theme of our season, which is taking a magnifying glass to the American dream and its successes or failures.
How did you become the director?
I think as the rumor went around that I was retiring, it became sort of an idea that, hey, maybe we could get Lisa to direct a Skeleton Crew. And Kendall, as both producer and stage manager, he already sort of had a plan laid out about how we would get the designers and all that good stuff, and has already created the poster, which is pretty awesome, that hopefully folks will be seeing around town soon. He's setting up everything as a fantastic stage manager should do.
That about sums it up. Yep. Along with Jackie Lowenstein, I work on finding directors for all of our shows. We take submissions. We also seek people out if we find a show that will really well fit for them. And Skeleton Crew is great for Lisa.
Yeah.
So.
This is a small cast, too, which I think personally works well in the Station Theater as a black box theater. It is 2 men and 2 women are the characters, and it's an entirely black cast and mostly crew, minus you, Kendall. Is that right?
Yes, we have a few designers that are not black, but for the most part, yes.
Do you know anything about the playwright?
She's one of the hot new playwrights in the last 5 to 7 years that has been discovered and has had her plays partially produced or completely produced on Broadway even. And she's sort of the second generation after Lynn Nottage and other folks. She's sort of the second or third generation of young African-American playwrights who are sort of bursting onto the scene, dealing with both history, African-American history, but also dealing with questions about the African-American psyche as it has moved into the 21st century.
What drew you to this show or this playwright?
I had directed one of her shows at the nationally recognized Clarence Brown Theater in, I think, spring of 2017. So I had heard of her, but that was when I was really deeply introduced to her work. And there's 2 things I really like about it. One is that the vernacular is real and honest and true. She writes the way people speak. 2 is that every once in a while when I was reading the script, I would just laugh out loud suddenly at something that happened or a turn of phrase or something. So that is what I really like, is that it's not broad comedy, but there's definitely quite a bit of humor, I think, in the play.
Yeah, the dialogue's really natural. It feels really real. I found myself, now this isn't saying much, but crying in many of the scenes, but also found myself laughing out loud while reading it, just because there are real moments between these characters who have clearly known each other for a really long time. And sort of the relationship dynamic that we see is something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
And I have to say I'm quite thankful to see that when I moved back here from overseas many years ago, the Station Theater was around and had been doing things, but it's been really nice to see the evolution of it becoming more open and having larger and more diverse kinds of seasons, and therefore bringing in different kinds of folks for direction, production, the choice of plays and all that stuff. So it's been really wonderful to see that, and then also to be asked to be a part of it as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful about that. So one of the things I've always wanted as an African-American woman is for my community to be as invested in their own way as much as they can, and in their own way in the arts in the community. I hope the Black community comes out in droves, men, women, no matter your age, no matter your size, your shape, all are welcome, because it's a joyous experience, and I want everybody to take part in that or support that in however they can.
That was director Lisa Gay Dixon and station board president Kendall Johnson talking about their play Skeleton Crew. It's in production at the Station Theater in Urbana from February 6th through February 16th. For ticket information, visit stationtheater.com. I'm Kimberly Schofield. Coming up after the break, a dialogue with Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul about filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration over a birthright citizenship ban.
Symbolically, it has meaning beyond the challenges that we're facing with immigration.
Keep it here for more dialogue from Illinois Soul.